So guys, in this video we are gonna implement the KNN algorithm, and first of all we need to find the distance, and for that I am making a distance function. And in this we are gonna take our query point, that is going to be small x, and we are gonna compare or find the distance between some other point, that is going to be capital X. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to return the distance, and that distance is going to be np.sqrt, and here we need to provide np.sum x minus x whole square. So this was the formula that we learned in the last video, so let me just explain it to you. First we need to import numpy as np. Okay, so we saw that our formula was x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. So this was our formula. So in logistic regression we saw that instead of using x and y to represent our data, what we used is that we used x0, or let's say x0 x1 and things like that. Okay, so what it is going to do, let's suppose this is our query point, this is the first point that we need to find the distance, or we need to find the class, and this is our normal point, and we are representing in the basis of x0 x1. So for this, what it is going to do, it is going to be, let's say, small x1, small x0 x1, and it is going to be x0 x1 for the other part. Okay, so what it is going to do, it is going to minus this, that is, it is going to generate a formula like this, x0 minus x0. Okay, and then it is going to square it, then it is going to do the same with x1 minus x1 square, and this is how it is going to perform the thing. And basically this point is our x, and this x has these values. Now similarly this x here that we are using, capital X also has these value, and when you are you are subtracting here, it, as they are basically in the formula in the form of a matrix, so it is automatically going to subtract the first value from the first value and the second value from the second value, and it is going to add them, and it is also then going to square them up. Okay, and np.sum, what I also need to do some changes here. Now it is correct. So this is what I am doing right now, and let's take yeah, so this is it. And now let's suppose we have 50 features. So what it is going to do, it is going to perform this same thing with the 50 values. So it is going to be x2 minus x2 square plus x3 minus x3 square, and don't get confused with x2 and x2 and x3 and x3, because this x2 belongs to the query point and this x2 belongs to our normal data point. Okay, so this is what we are doing. I hope that it is clear. If not, then please what you can do here is that you can find your data by using pen and paper, and then you will understand like how this is working well. Because whenever you don't understand a formula or an algorithm, the best way to understand that algorithm, that you simulate that algorithm using a pen and paper, and then you do it by hand, so you will get a very clear idea like what you are doing. Okay, so the second need is we need a KNN, and in this what I am doing, I am passing the our x, I am passing our y, and I am passing our query point. So this is the query point that we need to find, and let's instead of the query point, I'm gonna do small x. Okay, and we also need a parameter, that is x equal to 5. Okay, so sorry, not x equal to 5, k equal to 5. So in the KNN I am taking the k as 5. It is a hyperparameter, so you can decrease or increase it to see whether it is increasing or decreasing your accuracy. Now if you will see that till now that the algorithms that we have done, in that algorithm we trained our algorithm and we got some value that is called as theta, and using that theta we were able to predict new outputs and we didn't have to perform any new calculation. But in this case, whenever we want to find an output of a point or a class of a point, so what it is going to do, it is going to perform all the calculations at the runtime. And why it is going to run all the calculation at the runtime? Let's suppose we only have two classes right now. Let's say these and let's say these. So let's suppose you have a point like here. You have a point like here. So what you can do is you can find the distance, then you can perform all the operations and it is going to be okay. But if you will see that if the next point is here, then you cannot perform any of you cannot use any of the parameters that were associated with this point, because this is completely different and the distance is going to be completely different. So every point that we will have, or every data point that we will have to perform runtime operations on the data, and this is the one of the main disadvantages of KNN. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to check how many data points we have. So that is going to be x dot shape 0. Okay, and let's take for I in range m. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to find the distance from our this x to every point in x. Okay, so let's take xi for every point, and I'm gonna take this value, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna find the distance. So distance is going to be distance, and here I have to provide the small x, then xi. Okay, and now we also need a list here. So we have the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to append this distance, val dot append, and I'm going to append this distance with the class name. So the class name is going to be yi, because when we are finding the distance like this from a point, so what we need to do is we need to find this distance, and then we will need to store this distance, and we will have to say that let's say the distance is 6 and it belongs to class 0. Or you are finding the distance from this point here and you say that this distance is 10 but it belongs to the class 1. So this is what I am doing here. Now this this for loop is going to find all the distance. Now what we need to do is we need to sort those distance, because right now these distance are not in any order. So what we need to do is we need to sort them in ascending order. Okay, because we need the smallest distance, smallest 5 distances. Okay, so val is going to be sorted, and in this we need to provide val, and the key that we are going to use is going to be a lambda function. So lambda, and here x, and x, let's say 0. So what we are doing here, we are providing the val here, and we are saying that our key on the basis of which we have to sort this is going to be x. This x is basically a value of this, and then we are saying that return x0. So x0, what it is going to return, it is going to return this distance. So it is going to do all of that by itself, like it is going to only store 5 values. Okay, or it is going to sort it out here, and then what we need to do is we need to only take 5 values. Okay, so it is only taking 5 values now. So we have this. Now val is a list, so we also need to change it as np.as array, and we need to convert it as array. Now this is it. Now what we need to do is new vals. So let me just write this line and I will explain it to you then. It is going to be np.unique, and here we need to give val, and in the val what we need is we need on the basis of, so in the val we only need the class classes, so that's why I'm choosing the first column, and here it is going to return counts, return underscore counts equal to true. So let me explain you what it is doing. Basically what we want to do is, now let's suppose we have three values or three numbers from class 2 and one value from class 1 and one value from class 0. Okay, so we had this data in our well. Okay, so what it is doing, it is finding the unique. So in the well we had like this, let's say the distance is 5 and it belongs to class 2. Let's say the distance is 6, it belongs to class 2. Let's say the distance is again 6 and it belongs to class 2. And let's say distance is 5, belongs to class 1, and distance is 7 and belongs to class 0. So this was that what we had in our well list. Okay, now when it is going to return, then it is going to return the unique values in this. So what it is going to return, it is going to return 2 1 0. Okay, and we have also set return counts equal to 2, so it is also going to return the count of them. So here what we have is 3, we have 1 and we have 1, so it is going to return a 2D array like this. I hope that it is clear. Okay, now what we need to do is, as it has the highest number of votes, or basically we have highest number of points in this column, so what we can do is we can find the index of this. So index is going to be np new underscore wells, and new wells. In this, what I am going to do here, okay, new wells, so we need to provide the first column. Why we need to provide the first column? Because we need to get the counting from here, and this is the first row, so we need to provide one here. And with this, what we also need to do argmax. So it is going to return the index value of the maximum of the biggest element in this array. Okay, so that's why it is going to return basically 0. Now if it is going to return 0, then what it is going to do, we have to find the output, and it is going to be like this: new underscore wells and 0, and here we need to give index. So this line returns 0, and when we use that on the 0th row, the 0th row is this, and in the 0th row we are getting the 0th element, because we had the most number of points belonging to this class, so that's why it is going to return us 2. So that is going to be our output, and return output. Now the thing here is that it is going to return this output, and this, what was this number? If you remember, these are nothing but the classes, the class 2, class 1 and class 0. And as you can see here, as the nearest 3 points belong to a class 2, that's why our output is returning class 2 here. And I have done this wrong, because this all should be outside the folder. So guys, this was it, and it was very basic, and it is not a big program at all. So in the next video we are gonna make a digit recognition project, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.